all our hard work for nothing.
You know, something like this is something you just can't pass up now, can you?
Trump, Putin, Russian collusion.
Trump, Russian sort of collusion.
Trump, Russian, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian metal collusion.
Trump, Russia, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian, potentially collusion.
Trump, Russia, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian, collusion.
Trump, Russian collusion. Trump, Russia, possible collusion. Russia hacked our election.
Here comes a big change. Because all of a sudden, Trump, Russian, possible collusion, Russian collusion.
Trump, Russian, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian, possible collusion. Trump, the Russians, collusion.
Collusion with the Russians. Trump, Russia, possible collusion. Trump, Russia, possible collusion. Prove collusion. Prove collusion.
Was there collusion?
Absolutely.
Trump, Russia, possible collusion. 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 Trump, Russia, potential collusion. Trump, Russia, potential collusion.
And the Kremlin and be in collusion with Putin. And the Kremlin and be in collusion and Putin. And the Kremlin and be in collusion with Putin. And the Kremlin very worried in collusion.
2 years. 2 years this investigation gone on. The first time we ever heard of this Russia collusion meddling with our elections and all this other nonsense was straight out of Clinton's mouth. The moment she uttered it, the Democrats and everyone else didn't have to really take a cue. They just kind of rolled with it. And because she was the matriarch of their religion, at least at the time, probably not so much anymore, they followed up. They have been pushing this narrative for 2 years. And an investigation pretty much proves that there is no collusion. No one's been arrested, indicted, or otherwise charged with any collusion with Russia in any way, shape, or form. What we do know, they bought ads. They bought ads on both sides of the fence for Black Lives Matter, for alt-right media. They both sides. They picked a fight in order to divide us. And I'm not surprised that that shit worked completely, because look how the people are reacting now. So there's two things I want to cover within this whole investigation and the results therein. Everybody else is talking about, haha, I told you so, and all that fun shit. No, I want to go deeper. I want to go to the root cause of why these people are thinking this way. So first things first. Why is it that all the left-wing pundits and minus a few, like Kyle Kalinske actually came out and said, I told you so, you dumbasses. Was there Russian meddling? Sure. Did Trump do anything? Probably not. This investigation might not come out and say anything. He's certainly left-wing socialist crazy, but at least he's honest, which is something I respect. I may not agree with him in a whole lot of political shit, and he definitely got a chip on his shoulder because he's got a little bit of fame. But for sure, at least he's honest, and he has some integrity, which speaks a lot about that person's character. But no, first things first. What did we learn from all of this? 2 years investigation, nothing found. People are doubling down. What does that tell you? It wasn't driven on evidence or facts, so all they have left is faith-based reasoning. The thing I saw come out of Bill Mayer's mouth, in particular, reminded me of a similar argument that I hear from Christians, actually, and flat earthers, I guess, and a few others. I don't need evidence to know the earth is flat. I can just look out the window. I don't need I don't need the Bible, for evidence for God. I can just look around and look at all the nature and wonderful things and know that this world was designed by something or someone, and that something or someone is my particular God. Same fucking argument, different context. I don't need to know that this report had zero evidence for collusion. I believe it to be true. It must be true. So why are they doubling down? Why are people still running this narrative? And I wasn't going to cover something like this, but then I thought, you know what? The Axiom Principle, the name of my channel, and pretty much this thing I'm pushing forward, and name of my site and all that, focuses on one thing. Somebody is claiming something to be true, a universal truth in particular, but truth nonetheless, with zero evidence. So it is either a faith-based claim or it is an actual truth. An axiom is an actual truth that requires no evidence to know it's true, such as gravity sucks, air is existing, rocks hurt, stuff like that. You don't need evidence to know that if you get punched in the face, you're probably going to get hurt. There's no evidence required to know that that's the case. You just know that getting punched in the face will hurt. Stuff like that. Those are axioms. But the axiom principle states that somebody is representing something as true in a similar fashion, but it is not true when you start looking at the evidence. So this Russia collusion thing, not true after looking at the evidence. People are claiming it as true regardless of the evidence, which makes it a faith claim. Now, in this case, then, what I found is the only reason that I can think of goes back to a study in a book that I've been reading called Influence. This guy right here, Robert Cialdini, I hope I pronounced that right. Psychology of Persuasion. I recommend you read it. It's a pretty good read. There's a section in there called, what do you call it? It was social... This is something I actually read when I was studying a little bit of sociology. Social proof. The truth are us. In other words, it is true because it must be true, because everything centered around this worldview requires it to be true. So look at all the mainstream media and the last 2 years of coverage with Trump-Russia collusion. That entire narrative, including some of our representatives and politicians, celebrities, including Bill Mayer and the like. They need it to be true because it is a social proof. Their group, their collective, believes it to be true. Therefore, it must be true. And if it is not true, that challenges their worldview. Maybe Trump isn't a bad guy after all. Maybe he's actually doing some good. Maybe he really didn't collude with Russia against the United States. Well, if that's true, then what else am I wrong with? It actually is pretty damaging to somebody's core beliefs to have something challenged like that. So they will instantaneously try to find a way to defend it. In the case of the Mueller investigation, we see the evidence of that social proof being acted out, with all of them looking for, they want the full report released. You can't just give me a brief, a summary, and expect me to be okay. And we want it to release to the public too, so they can see that there's something there that's not. The Mueller investigation, as Bill Mayer put it, we don't need that, actually. And why should we start believing it anyways? We only spent the last 2 years saying this is going to indict him, that this is going to have him in jail, that the end is coming, that impeachment is around the corner for 2 years solid.
Next time, don't make a mistake.
Solid, constant, never-ending, relentless, repeating a narrative, repeating a truth claim, repeating their faith, because they need it to be true. Now that the social proof has been destroyed, they need to find ways to establish and keep that social truth, lest their entire worldview claim around Trump being Orange Man bad will crumble. So there's problem number one. And number two, the faith-based claim in itself, the claiming that this thing is true when it isn't, is something you would see in other religious types. So it's no coincidence that I think that these people are collectivists. They need to work in a we-us society, the group versus the individual. And so it's no problem casting out the individual in favor of the group. Trump has already been othered. He's a straight white male. So that alone has put him in the outcast group.
You were never important. Just a figurehead for our faction.
They've already othered him. Therefore, they've put him into a situation where he can do no good. And because of this, they're now having less and less things that they can say about him. We heard earlier today Don Lemon say, well, I have to give him kudos, but it's really hard because the last 2 years I've been railing against him over and over and over again, and I just can't give him credit for not doing anything. That's the ideology speaking, because his ideology has now been challenged to the core. So he has to maintain it, lest his worldview be destroyed. Greater men will question their own reality and say, well, shit, I was wrong. What have I learned from this? How can I gain from this error, this stupidity? And the question is, will these people ever do that? And the answer is no. Not at this point in time. I doubt that they even know how to question themselves at this point in time because of the behavior that they're exhibiting right now. So, there's only two things that I saw in there. You see a social proof going on, where it needs to be true lest their worldview is destroyed. And then there's the faith-based claim that this happened throughout this entire time, where it must be true regardless of evidence to the contrary. This is the classic religious trope of faith being over evidence. If evidence is presented to the contrary, you should accept the evidence. Some people cannot. What's ironic is people like Bill Mayer, he's an atheist. And here he is acting just like a Christian apologist for the existence of God, where I don't need the Bible or any other thing to know God exists. I just have to look around, look at the trees, look at the beauty of the earth, and ignore all the bad things because, God and stuff. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.
With no evidence, you can do nothing.